Film fans of YouTube, hello and welcome back to the channel. I am Josh, your movie apprentice, and today I am going to be looking at The Watchers, directed by Ishana Night Shyamalan in a directorial debut, and stars Dakota Fanning, Olwen Fouéré, Georgina Campbell, and Oliver Finnegan. This follows a young artist who, after getting stranded in the woods, finds a coop that is currently occupied by three other strangers, and together each night they are observed by these mysterious creatures known only as the Watchers. Before I get into my review, if you like what you're seeing on the channel, click the like button and subscribe for more reviews that's coming on time, and let me know what you thought of the film down below. But without further ado, let's jump right into the review. So The Watchers for me, like horror movies in general this year, was a mixed bag of some really good elements and some really weak elements. To start off with what I really enjoyed about this movie, it was the atmosphere and the mystery of these creatures known as the Watchers. The sounds in the woods, the cold opening, the questioning on whether to believe the person that has been in that coop the longest and if they're actually lying about these creatures outside. There was a nice slow evolution for the first hour of this movie. I will say the way that she gets stranded in these woods feels a little bit convoluted, but alas, once we get to her being stranded in the woods and getting a feel of the woods itself, and how it is a trap. This lone place of solitude in this wide expanse with these creatures that, for the brief glimpses that we see them, give us that creepy vibe, the way their bodies move, the way they look in the shadows, how they are built up and established, the creepy applause. It's really, really well executed. Without spoiling anything, I will say that this film goes into a new element of horror that we hardly ever see. Similar to Baghead, as led into witch horror, this leads very much into a part of folklore that is very rarely talked about or considered. So seeing that aspect being brought into this helped this film feel very fresh, and it just oozed atmosphere and folklore. However, I will say that this film, while it is really strong for the first two-thirds, there is a final act that takes place that almost completely drags me out of the movie. And I can't help but feel it was probably a little bit more fleshed out in the book that this film is based on. I will say that for me, it felt a little bit rushed. Like there was a whole extra half of a movie there that was stripped down to just a mere 20 minutes or so that really removed all the tension and drama and led to some big questions about some of the earlier elements of the movie itself. The dynamic between the four characters within this coop and how they are different but have the coexist and have their own little jobs to help them survive. I thought that element was really good and the actors bounced very well off each other, but it did lead into some very rather stupid cliches. The real joy of this movie was unfolding the mystery of these creatures. Like, what are they? What is it that is watching these people with such curiosity and entertainment during the night, but are viciously killing them when they are not in the coop? That is a nice mystery to see play out, and the way the film plays with the woodland setting and hallucinations and folklore and just the mist and fog effects to add that air of mystery to the movie. That is where the film shines its strongest. And sadly, the film doesn't end up sticking with that for the entire runtime. If it had ended a good 20-25 minutes earlier, this could have been a really, really, really good horror movie. But unfortunately, the film drags on and you're expecting some sort of stinger to slap you in the face at the end, but they drag that element out for the last 20 to 25 minutes, and it felt very rushed. The information dumping when we are finally taught what these creatures are and why they're in this situation, what they are actually doing, why they are observing the people. It feels there's a lot that is ignored for the purposes of progressing the plot. For example, there are some rules that apparently have to follow for these creatures so they can be safe, and they break a good number of them before these creatures finally decide they had enough. That is something that did not quite work for me, and the rush exposition during a highly stressful scenario when these creatures have finally had enough is rather curious. Now, some of the later exposition was decent enough, really helped flesh things out and explore things further, but it felt the last half of the movie could be encompassed into three separate exposition dumps that really just explain things away to the audience, leaves very little for us to piece together ourselves. Like the first initial bit of lore would have sufficed for me personally. They didn't need a lot of discussions on another section that followed afterwards. And certainly, I don't feel like the final act's arc was needed. This could very well have been a almost sequel, or at least let this part of the movie stretch out for an hour. It felt the film wanted to stretch itself out, but was conscious of losing the audience, so they rush a lot of stuff in that final half hour of the movie, and as a result, it leads to it feeling rather messy. But the film did have chops. The cinematography was really good. The creature designs, the mystery around them, and just the atmosphere built up was really good. This, for me, could have actually been a great horror movie. If the first 2/3 of the movie was all that the movie was, I could have considered this a great cup of tea, but unfortunately, the way it just drags a bit on and on and on, and adds a whole other story in the final half an hour, that for me really pulled this film down for me in my estimations. Before I get into my grade, if you like what you're seeing on the channel, click the like button and subscribe for more video reviews that's coming all the time. But without further ado, let's grade this. So The Watchers, it uses its setting really well. The themes of trauma and grief are really well done. The creatures and the mystery surrounds them is the most entertaining part of the movie. There's a genuine terror about these creatures in the unknown. So when things finally do get explained to us in a big way, and the key getting explained to us, that really takes away a lot of tension and mystery from the early stages of the movie. And had the film ended on a very eerie shot, I would have absolutely adored this movie, but unfortunately it continues on for a lot longer than it had any right to do so. So for that, I'm going to have to say that for me, The Watchers is a tea that needs more sugar. So The Watchers, have you seen it? If you have, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Are there any other obscure horror icons that should make their debuts in horror cinema, or at least be shown a little bit more? Do let me know in the comments below. Coming up on the channel, there'll be a late review of Bad Boys Ride or Die, as well as Hitman, and my video essay is coming out soon as well. So until next time, everybody, I am Josh, I have been your Movie Apprentice, and I'll see you all in the next video.